Welcome back and welcome to today's video. My name's Helen and I'm from the Education People. I'm here with Rebecca from KATO, and today we're going to be talking about the top 3 questions sent to us via social media around apprenticeships and specifically apprenticeship interviews.
Today's first question is, how can I prepare for an interview? My 3 top tips are: do your research about the company, make sure you understand them, and make sure that you are looking at interview questions. It can be a quick Google search. I can promise you that loads will come up. If you familiarise yourself with some questions that might come up, it might just be able to put you at ease. Now, my last top tip is always get a good night's sleep and know how to use an iron. If you manage to get a good night's sleep, you'll feel less tired, you might be less stressed, and you will have creaseless clothes. How about you, Helen?
Yeah, absolutely agree. Get on that company website, see if you can find out if they've got any kind of recent work going on, if they've got any big projects going on. That's what's going to generate information for you to ask questions about, find out if they've got any key values, and try and relax. I know it's hard, you're going to be apprehensive and you're going to be nervous. The water in an interview is there for a reason, so use it. So the second question today is, what is the interview actually going to be like? It's probably going to be a big discussion about you, an introduction to what the job might be, a series of questions, but it's really an opportunity for you to talk about yourself positively and convince that employer that you're the right person for the job. Rebecca, what would you say?
It's going to be scary.
Yeah.
Interviews are going to be a very, very scary experience. I think why it's so important that you do kind of that research beforehand, so that you've got some like little bits of information that you can fall back on. If someone asks you a question that you're not quite sure of how to answer, I always think there's nothing better than answering a question with a question. I know this about you, and it's about, as Helen said, turning it into a conversation, not kind of a one-way stream of here's your question, answer, here's your question, answer. If you can turn that into a conversation, you can answer it with a question where you've got your knowledge about the company. I think hopefully, even though it's a very scary experience, that will make it a lot less scary.
Yeah, and with your questions that you asked, if you come up with some questions beforehand, if you can find some questions that are really in depth and put that interviewer on the spot, it's really going to show them that you've done your research.
And our third question today is, I'm apprehensive, what can I do? Now, my first bit of information is to figure out what you're apprehensive about. Now, it might sound really silly because you might say, oh, well, I'm apprehensive about an interview. I understand that, but are you apprehensive about being in the scenario of the interviewer, interviewee? Are you apprehensive about going into a company? Obviously, it's probably something out of your comfort zone, you're not used to, but if you can isolate what's making you feel so apprehensive, you can have a look at you can research some different methods of how to deal with it. So I always say, have a real deep think about what is the worst bit about it, what's making you so worried, and try to rationalize that. Helen?
Yeah, I completely agree. Figure out what it is that's making you nervous and try and deal with that. You might do that by talking to someone that you trust, and getting a little bit of an ego boost. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. If you're having trouble identifying answers or coming up with questions, then ask for help. There are kind of tutors and teachers, friends and family you can ask. Get that ego boost. Ask them to talk about you in a positive light. Get them to tell you what your best skills are. It's the easiest way to do it. And if there are things that particularly relax you, like spending time with pets, friends or family, exercise is a really easy way to relax, especially the day before. And as you said, a good night's sleep goes a long way. So my top tip around interviews is to prepare. The day before, make sure you've got everything you need ready to go by the door, what you're going to wear, sort it out, so you don't even have to think about any of that stuff on the day. You can just get up, get ready, get dressed, and off you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely second that. I can't say I've ever done it, but I can definitely recommend it. My top tip is, every time you have the opportunity to write a personal statement or a covering letter, no, you're all going to laugh at me and tell me to go away, but write them, okay? If you are somebody that's looking at degree level apprenticeships, then definitely take the help that you get in sixth form to write your personal statements. If you are 16 looking at an intermediate or advanced level apprenticeship or sixth form college, whatever it may be, take the opportunities when people offer you advice around writing covering letters. The reason I say this is because when you're writing it, you are writing professionally, positively about yourself. So that when you go into those interview sessions, when you're in there and someone asks you a question that maybe you think, oh, I don't know how to answer that, automatically you will have kind of remembered and you will know what you've written for your personal statement or your covering letter, and hopefully that will come out a little bit more fluidly and a little bit easier than if you hadn't had those exercises beforehand.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time, and please